Things that Zira is actually afraid of in my channel. The Nazis. Although she hates the Nazis, she's definitely afraid of them. Well, slightly. You see, if it's just a single Nazi or a squad of them, she will most likely just be able to kill them on the spot because she's pretty experienced at guns. She's like a very experienced shooter, but yeah. However, if it's an army of them or whole entire like group of them, she will most likely attempt to retreat rather than actually fight. And yeah. Also, she fears the SS more than the Wehrmacht. This is because the SS, well, are kind of the ones that did the Holocaust and not the Wehrmacht. And the ones that are most likely to shoot in the face. Next up, we got the taser officers. These guys are, well, pretty much they're SWATs that carry tasers around them. Zira's definitely afraid of them because, well, they're one of the very few police that can very easily detain her. Much easier than the standard officers and sometimes even the SWAT team. So every time she notices one, she tries to retreat rather than actually fighting. However, sometimes she doesn't even get the chance to because they most of the time just come up from behind her and try to sneak around her and then tase her rather than actually going headfirst up to her. And even when they do go headfirst, she tries to fight them from farther away rather than close up like she does with the other cops. Next up is Bolo Yang. She's, well, mostly scared of him because he's actually a lot stronger than her. Next up is the Bulldozer. Zira is deathly afraid of these guys. Mostly because, well, they're genuinely a force to be reckoned with. The thing is, they're pretty much kind of different from most of the other officers. They're braver, they're stronger, and they certainly pack a punch for sure. What they do is that they're not really police commanders, but like when there's the first time she ever encountered a bulldozer, it was a horde of officers. And well, a bulldozer stepped in and he told them all to step back. And she got confused. And then he just pulled out a shotgun and started shooting at her. She knew that this guy may have been slightly more advanced, so she thought she was just a police commander or just some type of special officer. But then when she tried shooting at him, and his suit was very durable, and then she started getting a little bit nervous. But then she tried throwing a grenade, and he tossed it right back at her, so she instantly had to run. And tried shooting again, didn't really do too much. So now she was actually getting scared. Then he kinda put on like a sniper scope with a laser on it, on a freaking shotgun, which is very, actually now I think about that's kind of odd, but anyway, he charges at her, he chases her inside the building, and well, he actually manages to shoot her in the leg, and she was forced in she was at this point at the ceiling, like at the rooftop of the building, and she was crawling while bleeding. And because he was standing above her at gunpoint at this point, she was just, a gun pointed directly at her face, and the bulldozer was standing right above her. So she just gave him all the jewelry, and he placed it back in the museum. So jewelry in a museum? I really gotta start thinking of better scripts. Jewelry in a freaking museum? Screw it. A jewelry store. Yes, she went to the jewelry store. But yeah. He gave it back to the jewelry store, all that stuff. He ended up taking the money because he's not a freaking thief. He's part of the law enforcement. So yeah, that was Zira's first encounter with the bulldozer, and she's, again, deathly afraid of these guys. And next time she sees one, she always runs rather than trying to fight him. Now, technically, the bulldozer is Zira's worst fear. However, there is one thing that is above it. And that is a president who's got nothing to lose. Because he could just nuke the entire world if he wanted to. He could just send all of his nukes down to every single country if he wanted. And just start famine, everything else, nuclear radius, possibly world destruction. And that's the one thing she fears more than the bulldozer.